Alrighty, good evening, everybody. This is one of our first late shows of the year, actually, which is pretty cool. I think we may have had a weekend show the other day, but this is going to be really, really cool and very interesting. This is going to be a part one of two, actually, because we're going to be covering the personal history and the service history of our vet today and tomorrow, not tomorrow, for part two, we're going to be covering his book and doing a bit of a book review. And I'm sure those of you that do not catch us live tonight will have some questions and will send me some questions. So we will probably cover some questions in part two as well. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. Our guest tonight is Pyron Kim, and as you can see, he is a ROK Marine, and he was with the First Special Reconnaissance Battalion. And as I said before we kicked off, I literally have no idea where. I know a little bit of history on the ROK Marine history, but I'm going to be learning just the same. So this is going to be a lot of fun and looking forward to it. So I hope you're having a good morning there. It's 9:30 over there in Korea. I hope you're having a good morning this morning.
Yes, sir. Good. I guess good evening to you, Bud, in Alabama. Uh, I actually just got off work this morning. I just got off work, and I'm here today to talk about and I'm very privileged to be here today on Bud's podcast and talk about my personal experiences in First Recon in South Korea.
Excellent, excellent. And as you've seen from our previous interviews, we kind of like to get a little bit of a backstory and figure out and hear a little bit of a personal history. Where and when were you born?
I was born, actually, yeah, I just turned 30 a few days ago. um,
Wow.
Yeah, I was born in '96 in Busan, South Korea. So I'm a complete millennial '90s kid. I grew up with Tamagotchis, Linkin Park, Britney Spears, Transformers, all that good stuff, like the flip phones. And I also spent some time in Canada too. So I kind of had the '90s like North American kid experience as well. So I grew up with Blue's Clues and all Harry Potter. Uh,
That
so if you make a cultural I'm probably like one of the few guys you've had on your podcast that will get like your millennial references because I am
I,
one. Yeah.
I was just fixing to say, and by the way, happy late birthday. I was just fixing to say I'm 35. I'll be 36 this year in November, so I'm right there with you as well. So yeah, you will absolutely be right there on the same timeline. And as a matter of fact, you're probably yeah, I think you're the youngest guest we've had on. We've had a few like 38, 39, 40-ish guys, a little
Yeah.
older than me, but you are definitely our youngest vet so far. So right now you hold the distinct honor of that so thus far. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
uh, you're born Korea, just based on what I know, geographically small.
Mhm.
Was the town you were born in, city you were born in, depending on what you guys call it there. Uh, what was it like growing up? Were you did you were you big into sports? Were you in the city? Were you outdoors a lot? What was it like growing up for you?
Okay. Great question, but I grew up in the big bad city. So Busan is the second largest city in Korea. So Seoul is up here. You've probably all heard of Seoul. Busan is somewhere down here. The cultural difference between Seoul and Busan is like the cultural difference between Washington D.C. and Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
You're both Americans and you identify as Americans, right? You're not Canadian, right? But you identify as an American. But culturally, this is what many people say. It's very different. Everything from just how people raise their kids to school culture. Uh, for example, people in most people in Seoul that I knew, there was no real like corporal punishment in schools in Seoul for kids my generation, but in Busan, like corporal punishment was quite common. It was like Alabama in the 50s, right? You get a paddling if you speak out against the teacher, right?
I got paddled. So in the 90s, I got paddled still.
Right. Yeah.
So
And also
I just saw a picture of it, and I gotta say, just on the pictures I'm seeing on Google, and I'm sure every city is the same. Quite beautiful from what I'm seeing. Hustle bustle. Looks like it's got the beaches as well as some mountains and such in the back of the city here that I'm seeing. Very beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, it is. It's the place that I call home. I grew up. It literally means a lot of mountains, like if you translate it, because so like mountains are everywhere. Uh, I the area itself, Busan, if you it's part of the province itself. It's called South Gyeongsang Province. So if you Google it, like South, like Gyeongsang province, South Gyeongsang Province. It's the province consisting not just of Busan, but there are cities like Daegu, Ulsan, and Gimhae. Now, the men from this area, they're kind of stereotypically, they're supposed to be very like masculine. Like, does that make sense? Show no emotions. I'm not joking. Eat eggs without peeling the shell. And that's how masculine like you have to be. You have to like
Yeah, that's a whole other level of masculinity.
yeah. So that's kind of the atmosphere. Like you obviously know Taekwondo, right? The martial art, our national
Oh, yeah.
martial art, Taekwondo, right? Like everybody does Taekwondo, and like in the 90s, like we did. This was like kids stuff, but still we did sparring among elementary school students, right?
Oh,
Get the
wow.
like knock, yeah, like kick kids down, get also kicked down, and we're like 9, 10 years old, so they don't do that
I,
anymore. They don't do that anymore. But
Well, and I can imagine it didn't hit here because I mean, I was too young, but I was looking back on it. Pride was going on in the 90s while we were kids, and I can
mm,
imagine overseas. I know in Europe it made martial arts of varying practices, taekwondo, jujitsu, sambo, all of it start kicking off and everything. And that's one thing I wish that would come here. Wrestling is pretty big here, but jujitsu is still something, and karate is something you have to do like privately, on your own time. It's not really
I
school or,
see.
or state sanctioned, shall we say, yet, like wrestling and
I see.
football or baseball and stuff. So that's one thing I think is really cool about you guys. I've really enjoyed that, and as well as gosh, speaking of martial arts, while we're talking about it, Chuck Norris just passed away, and of course he was over there with the Air Force for his service, and that's where he learned his martial arts and actually
Yeah, yeah.
continued on his process. So that's pretty cool as well, bringing Korea into the modern subject, if you will. But I took us completely off on. Continue on. I'm sorry about that.
No, no, no. I grew up, kind of my family encouraged a very active lifestyle. So in Korea, the stereotype is that you have to study a lot, but also I studied, but I also did a lot of exercise. So I swam a lot as a kid. I did swimming. When I was in middle school, I was kind of an idiot, but in middle school, I really wanted to be like a soft guy, like a special operations guy. So I put like bricks into my backpack and I'd go running up the mountains, up and down. I, I was like every David Goggins B kid ever. Like, I was like doing like pull-ups with my backpack on and all that stuff. Yeah.
Now, were you getting any family history military wise, or were you seeing this on? I know you were seeing it on TV. I was seeing it,
Yeah.
but what was it? Did you have family history with the Korean military or anything, or
Oh, yes and no, because like all men from my generation served in one conflict or another. I think my paternal grandfather, he was a Korean War veteran. My father, he obviously served in the Korean Army. This is very interesting. My maternal great grandfather was actually conscripted for Vietnam, and he was in his 30s. He was like your age, and he already had like 3 kids, but he was conscripted to go to Vietnam. So I've had I guess one man from every generation kind of serve. So for me, it wasn't even like a veteran family. Like I would never consider myself to be a veteran family. It was just something you did. It was like you go in,
Wow.
you come out, that's it. Like you don't talk about it really.
That's another thing I think our country in one shape or form or fashion. There's some people that are just vehemently non-military, and that's fine. But we either need to do a few years in the military or some kind of civil service program or something. That's one thing that I think that we could benefit as a nation. And that's interesting that you had family conscripted for Vietnam, because I know I should say our generation there. I would go saying my generation, but our generation. I mean, not many I know of here, unless you're a fan of history and you watch the movies or you read the books or what have you. Not many people know there were Korean troops in Vietnam, which is still astounding to me, considering the immense effectiveness in the field and overall the success that they had in Vietnam as a unit, both by themselves and when they would be attached to Americans, either Special Forces, United States Marine Corps, or even with some Army units. I mean, they could adapt with any unit they needed, and in fact, got to the point where they had men on staff at Reconnaissance school, which is a hell of a compliment.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah,
watching
almost
all of this stuff
feel.
and doing everything. What and starting to get your ruck on and starting to do that. When you're rucking and doing this, thinking, playing soft and doing all that, are you already thinking I'm gonna join, or is this you playing around having fun?
No. I think I wanted ever since like even before or like right after puberty, after I became like 11, 12. That's all I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be John Rambo, Green Beret, and all that stuff. Right.
That's
I
awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty pretty awesome. Like I grew up a lot with I grew up with a lot of guys from the Cold War generation. So when they got together, all they would talk about is like being in the army and like shooting North Koreans and like just crazy stories that you would not even believe. All right. And there's like one guy
That
that I knew. He'd be like, oh yeah, like I remember once when I was in middle school, some North Korean spies tried to like blow up a building, and we had to evacuate the school. Just like this, beyond your imagination. Like, but that was very normal for like the 1970s, 80s generation. And he would be like very matter of fact. Like he'd be like, yeah. Like well, there was one spy we caught in our neighborhood, and we were rewarded by the government. And I was just like, holy jeez.
Wow. And we've had a few of the SOG vets or the A camp vets that stayed in the military, and a few of them were in Korea on the DMZ, and I think two of them. I know one of them for a fact. He was in SOG, and then the Mike forces and over in Thailand with the 46. He was there when the notorious tree cutting incident happened, when the Americans cut the tree, and the North Koreans, I believe, murdered 2 Americans with an axe, and it almost kicked off and pretty got hairy. I know special forces were actually called in there for a while to get the bodies and such out, but I can't imagine, like you said, some of the stories you must have heard growing up, if with all the Cold War guys around. I mean, wow.
Yeah,
So
even when I was born,
go ahead. I'm sorry. The delay is going to
even when I
mess
was
me up. I
born,
apologize.
there was like a submarine raid. There was like a submarine raid of like North Korean commandos into South Korea. You can look at, I think it was 96 or 97, but there was a commando raid, and they were all like hunted down and killed one by one. So, and this was when I was born, and I'm not that old, right? So that's kind of like our history right there.
I think one of them, and it may be the one you're talking about. I think they had like the mini subs or whatnot.
Yeah. That's probably it. Yeah.
That's it's such an interesting place, and we've actually going to have a guy here on, hopefully in the future, that was the afterrunner of the LRPs and LRSD veteran, and he was on the DMZ for a while, and he said he's got a few interesting stories. It's a very hot place. Historically, it's been a military place. Things have been happening historically there for the beginning of time. With all of this going on as you're born, literally, crazy stuff is going on. Is there a age to where is it like here? I believe at 18 you're good to go. You can get in yourself. Anything under that, 17, I don't even think you can do it at 16. 17, you can get your parents to sign you in and get delayment and all of that. Did you sign up at 18? What's the Korean military like?
Korean military is mostly you can sign up at 18 because that's when you're legally an adult. Interestingly, I think 90% of Korean men and women go to university. So what happens is that most people sign up when they enlist. It's actually part of the culture here. You do 1 or 2 semesters, and then you take a 2-year break, and then you go to the military. It's part of the culture here. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
that is wild. So that's what you that's like, what you did. You went for 2 semesters and then you took off and did and joined.
Actually, I was kind of late. I did 2 years first. I partied for 2 years. And so I enlisted at 21 in 2017. I was 21 years old. That's when I enlisted. But even that was like that was kind of old, to be honest. Like a lot of the guys who only done 1 or 2 semesters, so they were like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, and I was 21. So I was kind of old for the Marines.
Old man in the group.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's pretty crazy being like 21 being the old guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the military is always funny like that when calling somebody Gramps and they're like 25 or 27, something like that. It's always funny when I hear those stories. Did you and again, I clearly I don't know much about the Korean military here, or South Korean military, I should say. There's clearly North. The Navy, the Army, were you already picking out, or when you joined, is that picked for you? What is that like when you officially decide to join, and then where you go from there?
Okay, good. Thank you for the question. It's a lot like I've read, like, obviously you can tell I've read a lot of books on the Vietnam War era, like in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, when I read the books from like the 50s in America, it's kind of like Korea now. So when you turn 18, you get your draft notice from the government for the Army.
Wow.
Yeah, when you turn 18, like everybody gets it. But as I said, everybody goes to university. So if you go to university, it's automatically postponed. And then in university, you can apply for the Navy, Air Force, or Marine Corps. The stereotypes are more or less the same, right? The stereotypes are more or less the same, but you can apply Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and if you just like sit on your butt doing nothing, just like eating Cheetos and playing video games, the Army's going to literally like take you, like snatch you up, because that's what happened to one of my friends. He was just like smoking weed and playing video games, in his mom's basement. Then he turned 25. Army was like, son, here's a uniform and a rifle.
Oh man. Yeah. Wow, that is crazy. Oh man. So wow, that is just so interesting. I mean, gosh, I'm just trying to picture what that would be like here, and how that would be received. At first, it would not go over well. I assure you, it just wouldn't. But long term, I think that would be pretty good. That it just sounds good, and I think everybody could benefit from that. So you joined officially in 2017. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I enlisted in 2017, July 17th. That's when I entered boot camp.
Wow. Okay. And here, the depending on what branch you join, for either basic or boot, Marine Corps, Army, or Coast Guard, Navy, what have you, Air Force, you got different parts of the country you're going to go to. Where did you end up going for your boot camp, and what was that like for you?
So there's a city near Busan called Pohang. It's Pohang, South Korea. It's kind of like the Pittsburgh of Korea, I guess. They have a lot of steel factories, like a lot of steel. It's like steel, blue collar, or countryside, that kind of feel to it. Like if you go to a bar, everybody are either criminals, cops, Marines, or steel workers. It's like those are the four like food groups if you're a man.
If you saw Deer Hunter, it's basically Deer Hunter. The town of Deer Hunter. That's how you describe a steel mill town perfectly right there.
Yeah. So that was so it's in Pohang, and Pohang is only like 90 minutes by car from Busan. So my parents could come drop me off. I feel bad for some of the Army guys because their bases are in the middle of just nowhere. Like, the bum F word phrase?
Oh, yeah.
Like some Army bases in Korea, they're just in the middle of, like, I've never heard of these places in my life. And I'm like, that's part of Korea? Really? Right? So instead of going to some, like, mountain hellhole, I actually got to go to a kind of industrialized city for boot camp. So I was actually pretty happy to go.
Wow. Very interesting. That's pretty cool. Wow. I was, curious if they were all out in the in bumfunky Egypt, if you will. They'll probably think I actually said it with my southern drawl, but I didn't say that, YouTube. So I mean, with you, was that your first time like being off from, well, you went to college for 2 years, so no, you'd been off on your alone and such for a while. What was it like first getting there and adjusting to, you're not in control anymore, you're on somebody else's time and somebody's breathing down your throat now?
It was kind of nuts because there are a lot of TV shows in Korea on like documentaries on the military, but they make it super easy so you're not scared to go. So there was a TV show when I was in university. It was this TV show where celebrities go to boot camp. It's like a celebrity boot camp. So it's like you're like a good looking, you're like Timothy Chalamet, you know who he is?
Yeah, like Special Force. We've got a show called Special Forces now where they do that. They have celebrities go through Special Forces training, and it's not Special Forces training.
So I saw that, and they were like, "Oh, like you're unsatisfactory. Do 10 push-ups." All right, and I saw that, and I was like, "That looks pretty easy. I could do the Marines, if the Marines is that easy." And then I get there, and then the first day is just like the most profanity I've heard in my entire life. And then in front of me, I see my buddy. He's actually, we still contact each other because we went to the same university. We ran into each other in the military, but we knew each other in university. Yeah. So I see my buddy. He's like standing across from me, and the DI goes, "Stop blinking loudly," and then like smacks him in the face. And I was like, TV didn't prepare me for this. This isn't reality TV.
It's nice to hear the Korean Marine Corps is evidently upstanding the Marine Corps tradition like here, because that's sounds like it's just like what we hear from our guys we talk to that have joined. My dad was a Marine in Vietnam during the Vietnam era and went to Vietnam, of course. And That's exactly what he said. Of course, now they can't do that. I'm sure y'all are a little tougher. I've heard, don't get me wrong, I've heard guys get tuned up, but he said just the same exact thing as soon as he got there. It was nice, and once you got out, you know, in from outside, all hell broke loose. So that's pretty funny to hear. Y'all are upholding that hellish Marine Corps tradition. So is it most Marine Corps bases here, they've got, from what I've seen, I'm not a Marine, so if I slip up and it sounds like I am acting like a Marine, I am not. I am the son of one, and I've studied them. So they've got the yellow footprints. You get in there and the berating begins. You get out of your clothes, they shave head, give you your clothes. Is it basically like that for you, to where it's a bum rush right from the beginning?
Yeah, I have a friend who served in both the U.S. military and Korean military, and from what he says, we combine. You have the concept of MEPS, right? We do MEPS at the same time as the first few days of like the bum rush. So it's kind of crazy. You get like your blood drawn, and like all of your shots, and also you're getting hazed relentlessly, and like no sleep and all that stuff. And you're doing the eye tests and the vision tests and the IQ tests as well. It's hilarious. Yeah. I see. I thought that was normal, but my friend is like, no, that's not normal. Like no country does MEPS like the boot camp first week at the first phase at the same time.
That's definitely the first time I've heard that. That is pretty wild. I can't imagine what that must have been like after. I did go through MEPS, but I ended up being in a terrible car wreck. So I know I do at least know MEPS, but yeah, that the first week, no, definitely not. Combining all that together had to be hellacious. Yeah, and you mentioned your buddy served in both. Is that common in all units, or are your instructors and all of that, have they been to America to either schools, or are they prior American service vets as well, back in Korea or in Korea?
Oh, that's a really good question. Well, first off, there are a lot of Koreans who finish their mandatory military service in Korea, and they go to get American citizenship. They're green card holders, but because it's a faster way to get citizenship, they re-enlist in the U.S. military. So that's the first case scenario. The second case scenario is there are a lot of Korean servicemen, like Korean soldiers, soft guys, who go to the U.S. for extra training. So I personally know guys who've been through like the U.S. basic reconnaissance course and the U.S. BUDS. Right, so we send like some of our best guys over to the U.S. Regularly. I was a Marine guy, so I met mostly Navy and Marine guys. But I've also heard that Army Special Forces dudes go through the Q course as well. Like Korean Army Special Forces dudes also go through the Q course. I don't know if they go through the Halo in the U.S. because we have our own excellent Halo schools in Korea. So I don't know if it would be worth it to send guys to Halo school in the U.S. But definitely the Q course and the BUDS, BR basic reconnaissance course, we send our guys over.
Very cool. And I wouldn't doubt probably Ranger school as well. I wouldn't doubt.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, Ranger school as well.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy duty. I know a MARSOC guy, well, several, but one in particular that was talking about, he had when he was getting into the recon community for the Marine Corps, in his BRC class, he had 2 ROK Marines in his class with him, and he said they passed and were just absolute units and had no problem. So that's pretty cool. Still seeing the tight unity that
Yeah,
South Korea
absolutely.
and the United States still have on. So that's badass. I like that. So when you get there and you get your first week of MEPS and hazing and getting settled in and all of that, you being in somewhat of a city location, what's that like going through boot camp or basic training in the city? Are y'all you know, push-ups, pull-ups, and all of that, and then do y'all go somewhere else for shooting? What's the layout like
Oh,
here?
yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we have to. Oh, geez, it's been ages. Yeah, so we do like PTN stuff in boot camp, but obviously we have to hike we have to hike up a mountain to like ranges, and there's like a mountain warfare course,
Mm,
and we also have to go to the beach as well at one point to get acquainted with the IBS boats. Remember, this is boot camp, so it's like very basic stuff, right? But yeah, they shuttle us. Well, not shuttle us. We have to ruck, but they shuttle us around the different parts of the city, and we have to do it. The mountain warfare course was the worst because of the bathrooms. Like I'm not joking. The bathrooms consisted of 5 holes in the ground, and there was like excrement smeared everywhere, and there were no doors because the DIs had broken them down like over history. Those were the worst bathrooms I think I've seen in my entire life. But besides that, it was like good training. But the bathrooms were terrible, man.
I can only imagine a whole bunch of Marines with poor bathroom provisions, and it just
Yeah.
getting worse and worse. But I can imagine that is pretty hardcore. The mounting, and so you're getting and like you said earlier, it's, you know, beginner, but y'all are already getting mountain warfare training, or at least mountain training in basic and such.
Yeah. They I mean, they teach us how to repel the various types of rappelling. They teach us how to pardon me. They teach us how to do knot tying, the basic like 3 or 4 knot ties. Uh, and yeah, I was to be honest, like in mountain warfare training, you know the harness that you have to put on for like
Mm-hmm.
rappelling, the harness,
Mm-hmm.
right? I couldn't even put that on properly, so I spent the majority of my mountain warfare training just getting like the living daylights hazed out of me. Just like 4 instructors on me, being like, "What the f is wrong with you?" Right? And then like a bunch of terrible words followed. So my 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 boot camp buddies got the mountain warfare training. I just got tased.
Oh
Yeah, so
man,
technically, yeah.
I know that had to be rough, man. That's tough. Man. Uh, so when you know, like here, depending on, you know, what branch again, they have, it's different names, but you've got boot, basic, what have you, and then you go to
Mhm,
a specialty school based on your MOS,
mhm.
your job. Is that still the same over there to where you were basically assigned your job and then you go to further training for your job?
Yeah, pretty much. So what's quite interesting about the Korean Force Recon community, and from what I've understand, this is kind of what the U.S. Force Recon was like in the 1990s and the 2000s. Okay, not
Mm-hmm.
now, but in the 1990s, I heard this is what U.S. Recon was like. So first you apply to go to Recon, and then you have to do the PT test, obviously, right? So like swimming, running, pull-ups, right? So you pass the screener, and then you get assigned to you go directly to the fleet. So you go
Yeah,
to
the
first,
ships.
yeah. So I got assigned to first Force Reconnaissance Battalion or Special Reconnaissance Battalion in Pohang, South Korea. So I don't leave the city where my boot camp is. I just stay in that city, right? So my
Wow.
buddies like go to like different areas of Korea, but I just stay in the city. Yeah. And I got to the fleet. And in the fleet, then you're basically like I don't know, like a glorified janitor for in the fleet. You just
Oh yeah.
clean toilets and get hazed. Yeah, you just get yeah. You're like, I'm gonna be a recon marine. I'm gonna be a real boy. And then you get there cleaning toilets with your bare hands for months, taking out the food waste, right? But then what happens is every 3 years, sorry, 3 times a year, there are 3 slots for reconnaissance school. So like scuba school, reconnaissance school. So there are like three
Wow.
cycles a year. Yeah, three
Hmm.
cycles a year. So I got to the fleet in September, but the third class, which starts in September, was already closed, so I couldn't go there. So I couldn't go to reconnaissance school. So mine was postponed, and the next one is in March. So I have to wait until March. But March, by the time March rolls around, there's the maybe you remember in 2018 there were the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you remember in 2018 there were the Winter Olympics in Korea? So
Mm-hmm.
in March, our unit has to pull security.
Oh.
So yeah, so we have to pull security. So again, my class gets postponed, right? And then finally in summer, I go to the 2018 summer recon dive course, and I've been in it. And by the time I go in, I've been in the military for a year. Yeah, by the time I get in.
Wow, that's quick.
I already know, like, yeah. So I already, it's kind of good and kind of bad because the Korean reconnaissance course has, I think the washout rate is like 30 to 50%. But so if like somebody hears this, they're like, oh, it's 30% because it's easy. I think it's 30% because we actually train guys before they get to the course. So it's not your first day and it's like an instructor screaming at you. You're in the fleet and you'll learn, like, this is how you swim with fins. This is what the instructors will do to you. These are how to tie your basic knots. This is how to pack your rucksack. This is how to prevent injury. So you learn that in the fleet and then you go to the course. At least that's what happened to me.
That's actually a lot smarter. And they do have pre-workups and such from what I've understood, but that's a lot smarter because it seems like you're going to be wasting a lot of potential candidates for, you know, nonsensical reasons because of the strictness of the, you know, of the cut rate and such. But that's pretty cool. So you had mentioned you guys pulled security for the Olympics. What was that like? Are you guys, you know, full kit, y'all man in post, or what's the situation like on that?
Again, this is for March 2018. I was actually, and you'll read all about this in my book later, but I was in Thailand, Cobra Gold. So I was one of 2 Marines who was pulled from the winter detail, and I was sent to like beautiful Thailand with coconuts and like hula girls. And now my unit has to freeze my unit has to freeze their behinds off. But they had like full security, so like full battle rattle, live rounds, looking to make sure like no spies or terrorists try to disrupt the Olympics. So they got the full deal. They got the night vision on. They're sleeping in a hole with like loaded weapons. And me, I'm just partying in Thailand. So yeah, that's what that's what happened. Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that's me in Thailand. There we go. In Thai, I think it says in Thai it says I think it either says death from above or long range reconnaissance. It's one or the other. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love those tiger stripes. That is pretty damn cool. Is that standard issue for you guys?
Yeah, standard issue. Yeah.
Woo-wee, y'all, you're gonna be making a lot of people jealous knowing that. That's damn, that is very cool. And so is Cobra Gold the I'm assuming that's the a recon school or what?
Cobra Gold is like an Asian joint exercise between all the like allied countries. So I think like every country from Japan to Thailand, Singapore participate in it. The United States too, obviously.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
But it's like basically it's like we train to learn how to fight together. So you got Marines helo casting together. You got Marines going to the fire range together, doing survival courses, PT courses together, right? And then afterwards, getting drunk together, barbecuing together. So all that good stuff, yeah.
Getting in fist fights together, maybe ending up in jail together, running from the police together, all the good stuff. You know what Marines do.
Yeah, I was the dude who was like trying to prevent fights. I was like the one, like the 2 dudes, like they get drunk and they just start wailing on each other. I'm the one who's like choking the guy up, being like, "Come on, man! Like you drank too much."
I was fixing to say that's like trying to stand against a wave and stop it from coming to when alcohol and Marines are involved. There is going to be a fight no matter what. It doesn't matter if it's literally the beginning or literally everyone's leaving, getting in the cars. So, a fight is going to happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Olympics occur. You were at Cobra Gold, luckily. What is next in the pipeline for you? Are y'all training up for
Oh, like
anything?
airborne?
Or
Yeah.
yeah, okay. The Airborne School is next in the pipeline. Then is there a
Okay.
here we have Fort Benning, Army's Fort Benning, which most people go. I believe Halo now. The Navy and Marine Corps has out west. They have their own Halo stuff, but Airborne School is at Fort Benning, Georgia. Do y'all have a set Airborne School for the Korean military?
Actually, that's a really interesting question. We so old school recon Marines from like the 1990s and 2000s, not even then, like maybe the 80s. They went to they went to the Korea's like Fort Benning for airborne training.
Very
But
cool.
now the Marine Corps has its own parachute course. Uh, so again, I was lucky because I was unique because I went to airborne school before recon. Uh, Usually you graduate from the dive course and then they send you to airborne school, but I was lucky. So everybody felt bad for me because my class I'd been constantly like pushed to the next class. So they're like, oh, let Pyron go to the airborne course first. So I went there. Uh, I, I graduated, uh, and I think graduating airborne school it wasn't physically hard, but I liked it because I was that was the first time I was not treated as like a janitor slave. Because until then you're just like cleaning toilets, cleaning weapons, cleaning toilets again, cleaning weapons. But after I graduated from airborne school, I was kind of considered one of the boys, like kind of. Yeah. And then,
Wow.
yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, 5 days after I graduated from airborne school, I went directly into reconnaissance school, like 5 days after. Yeah, without, yeah, no party or break or going home. It's like right after not even five, no, 3 days after I graduated airborne school on like a Friday, and then Monday I was in reconnaissance school. So that was fun though.
I get. I mean, depending on how sore you were, I could see that being an issue. But that would probably be pretty good. Not going home, cutting loose, making a mistake. Getting heavy and all of that. Instead, going straight to recon and being
Yeah, I was pretty
already.
fit too, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What what year is this, and then B, where is the recon course held?
So I went through airborne school in May of 2018, and then I graduated June 2018, and then in June 2018 I went directly into the reconnaissance course, and I graduated from the reconnaissance course end of August.
Wow.
So end of August 2018, I'm like a complete like full-fledged recon marine, and this is all in Pohang, South Korea. So away from our boot camp, there are like different like training areas. It's like one of those like role playing video games like Lord of the Rings. They're like different like parts of the city where you go to train in.
Uh,
Right?
yeah,
So there's
yeah.
a reconnaissance. Yeah, there's a reconnaissance school. We have our own, pardon me, dive program as well. So there was a week where we just run around. You run around with scuba gear on your back.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What with is it depending again which unit and such, or I should say branch of the military. Guys are dual cool in the Marine Corps. They're air and dive. The Army, of course, combat dive school, airborne, and then they go deeper into Halo.
Mhm.
Is the recon unit basically right now? Are they airborne and then dive, or do y'all begin getting deeper into Halo and then combat diving and such? Or
Oh, that's a really good question too. For us, number one, it depends on the sergeant major. So when I was a for my first year when I was a sergeant major, that guy he really liked scuba diving. Uh, and I like scuba diving too, but I couldn't scuba dive because I wasn't qualified yet. And then while I was away at reconnaissance, doing the whole reconnaissance thing, I come out and there's a new sergeant major. Now he loves airborne. He loves like scuba. He likes skydiving. So now like I'm doing a whole bunch of, and I was the worst. I graduated bottom of my airborne course because I couldn't do like the falls properly. So I sucked in airborne school. And then I graduated from airborne school, and I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm airborne qualified. I'll never jump again in my life. And guess
Little
what?
did you know.
Yeah, they're like, you're not doing any more of those like easy Hollywood jumps. And I'm like, what do you mean Hollywood jumps? No, you're doing real man jumps with like your rifle at night with the rucksack and rifle. So.
Man, wow, yeah. If you're not wanting to jump, yeah, that's like crazy when I hear or on the podcast you hear SEALs that either don't like the water or aren't very good swimmers, and it's like you're joining the SEALs and all of that, but it's conquer your fears, and they become quite proficient at it later on. But that's crazy. And quick. I mean, you're going through stuff very, very quick. I mean, the American pipeline, if you set especially during wartime, talking to guys, it was quick. They needed bodies and such, but it sounds like you're moving quite at a quick pace here, getting into the recon community. Is there anybody that you've come across yet that you've kind of identified as maybe a mentor or somebody that you're around a lot that you've that's kind of maybe taking you under their wing of sorts?
Yeah, I mentioned this guy in my book as well. I'll call him by the name in his book. It's Thumbtack, like Thumbtack. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so his nickname was Tack, like hardtack. His nickname was Tack in the military. He was the one good, like the military has a lot of disadvantages, but the one good thing about it is that it brings people from all over the country together. Yeah. So he was from South Jeolla province. So it's the South and Jeolla, South Jeolla province. So they're basically they're kind of like the rednecks of South Korea. Like people from Busan, few people from South Jeolla is like the Deliverance family.
Wow. Yeah, country out in the woods. I follow you. That most people would say I'm in the Hills Have Eyes country down here in Alabama, but I guess you could say that technically. But yeah, and that is true. It's like here, that is the one thing the military does. It brings everybody from not only across the country together, but as you were just talking about, different social circles, income. I mean, you've got families that are, millionaires up from Connecticut to down here, poor boys that grew up in the trailer down here in Alabama getting together. So that's pretty cool. It's also happening over there as well. It seems like that's one thing through history, no matter where you're at, the military does. That's really, really cool. So this gentleman, you're speaking about, sorry about that, went off on a tangent.
No worries. Yeah. So Thumbtack, he, like, to give you an idea, I grew up in the city, so there's no need for public transport. For private transportation. So I started driving at pretty late. I started driving at like 25, 26. That's when I started driving, because there's no need. There's literally no need. It's like New York. There's no need to buy a car at all.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
But this guy, he grows up like driving tractors from when he's like 12. Right? And
sounds
everybody
like here
in his family, he's like those stereotypical American families, actually. Like, he's like Lieutenant Dan. Like, everybody in his family has served in like special operations or special forces or recon marine, drill instructor, paratrooper, and like, all that stuff.
That's awesome, man.
So he was and he was a year younger than me too, but he's really like an older brother figure. He still is, actually. He's kind of like an older brother figure to me. because he really, I was like a terrible Marine. Like I tried to be a good Marine, but I was a terrible Marine. Like I couldn't fold my arms properly. Like I couldn't memorize the Recon Creed and just a whole bunch of. I was always getting in trouble for some BS or another. But he was like really squared away. I think he won like the division-wide shooting contest and like Morse code contest, and he won like a whole bunch of trophies and medals. He was like an awesome
Wow.
Marine. Like
Yeah, he
awesome
sounds like a squared away dude.
and it was kind of I actually felt bad for him because he was always getting in trouble. I was like Gomer Pyle, and he was like the Joker. He was like Private Joker. I was like Gomer Pyle. And he's like, "This is how you lace your boots, Gomer." And I was like, "Really?"
Thank God though. You know you got to have somebody at least helping you out along the way.
Uh-huh. So he also the reason why I also respect him is he was like a true like Marine type. He actually re-enlisted. He stayed for 6 years. He only got out recently, and I think he's a
Wow.
firefighter now. So he really went down the stereotypical like he was a gunnery sergeant for 6 years, and then he got out, and now he's like got a union job as a firefighter, driving tractors on the weekend, right? I'm sure that story sounds very similar to guys you've met.
Oh, I mean, it's the sameness is here of military life and ex life is just crazy. I mean, it's it's crazy. It's wild. It's spot on. Even y'all's geographic differences is spot on. It's hilarious, quite frankly. Um, so this guy did he go through basic recon with you, or did he go through the reconnaissance course with you?
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah. We went through Airborne school together. He helped me so much just for everything. In Airborne school, we have to like stencil our helmets on. But me being Gomer Pyle, yeah, we have to. It's like the U.S. military in the '60s. So you still have to like stencil your number onto your helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And like me being Gomer Pyle, I couldn't even do that properly, so he had to do it for me. Yeah, he literally babysat me throughout Airborne school. But then I kind of paid him off in recon school because I think he had like a back injury during Hell Week. So we have like a Hell Week where there's no sleep and you get hazed and all that stuff. But he had a back injury during Hell Week. So he's like crying and like he can't take it anymore. But so I take his I kind of take his place underneath the boat so he can relax, so he can, because I know that the weight is going to like snap his spine in half.
Oh yeah.
So I take his, and usually we take turns, right? I'm sure you've talked to the guys who've been through like buds or recon or whatever. So we take turns at the front, because the front, at least for us, it was the toughest, because remember you're climbing up mountains all the time, so you're at the front.
That boat is weighing on top of your head, compressing your spine as you're running and carrying a 500-pound inflatable boat on top of your spine. So that's what's going on, guys. He's hurting bad.
Yeah. So my buddy, Thumbtack guy, he actually washed out of the previous course because of his back injury. Yeah. So he was supposed to go in September, but he ended up going to July with me. He ended up going to July with me. But he got washed out once, and I think if you get washed out twice, they kick you out of the unit. So.
Wow, man.
Yeah, if you wash out twice for an injury, they kick you out of the unit. So my guy, I think it's his last chance. If he gets washed out for an injury again, he'll be a regular infantry Marine. And all he has to do is pass Hell Week, right? Everything else he's good, but his back can't take it. So I take his place. So everybody else is like trading out, but I refuse to trade out. I just take his place for like the whole week. For the whole week.
What a great move on your part. Holy crap, dude.
No. So I think I paid off my debt to him. It's one of those things you don't really talk about. So like, yeah, but
that's
he didn't
awesome.
Yeah, so I didn't like thank him personally. I wasn't like, thank you for helping me, and he was like, oh, it wasn't like that. Like I just paid off my debt to him.
Oh, it's an unspoken
For
thing.
babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love hearing that and help. And I can only imagine with already a messed up back, trying to go through recon school already, and the back still hurting, and then the boat. Had you not done that, from the sounds of it, he would have been, without a doubt, would have been done. It sounds like so that's commendable, and as we call it here, that's mighty stand up of you. So that's awesome, man. What where are we at now with completing Airborne? You've I believe you've done diving already. Is there any leadership schools or any specialty schools that is going on, or what's the unit up to?
There were two more specialty schools you could go to that I didn't go to. There were two more specialty schools you could go to. One is parachute rigger school. Yeah. So you learn how to like pack a parachute properly. Yeah, it's like you're trusting like an 18-year-old high school dropout to pack your parachute. That's not the smartest move, I don't think.
Do y'all have from what I understand, it's at all places, but especially at more experienced places. The guy, if you're a rigger and parachute packer, you pack them, and then there's a certain, they put numbers in them or whatever, and after a certain amount of time or whatever, you draw a number and you're jumping one of the chutes you packed, just to ensure you're giving it your best on every shoot.
Yeah. We have that too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Love that too. That's cool. So you didn't do rigger, and what did you say the other school was?
There's called counter terror school, where you learn how to like shoot where you qualify with pistols and stuff, and you do like a bunch of, I don't know what happens there because I haven't gone, but there's like a counter terror school too. I don't even know if we send Marines there anymore, but when I was there, there were the additional schools were counter terror and rigger, parachute rigger.
Wow, very cool. And I forgot to even ask, but now since we're kind of right here at it, what is the not the goal, what is the mission statement of the first special reconnaissance battalion? Well, what what are y'all tasked with doing, shall we say?
So before let's say a war breaks out with North Korea, before the main first division, the grunts go in and blow everything up. The grunts and the tankers go in. We have to infiltrate by air, sea, air, or land. We have to infiltrate 48 hours before and set up communications posts, kill North Korean officers. That's our mission statement. Okay, I'm not saying we actually did that, but that's what we were trained to do. So then like kill the officers, set up communications posts, like report on North Korean troop movement. So you'll learn how to like set up a radio. Let's say you're in a mountain and you see like a column of North Korean troops, tanks coming down. Then there's like a code word. I forgot it, but there's a code word for how many tanks there are, and then you have to report, and then the infantry get the message. So that's what we do. Yeah.
That is very, very heavy duty, man. Yeah, that I mean, that kind of sounds like a mix of some of the recon units in Vietnam, and then some of the stuff that was going on in Berlin at the height of the spy warfare and everything. That's pretty heavy duty. I can imagine there's this unit, the Marine Corps, is probably some pretty experienced guys. I mean, what's the age limit in recon here? I gotta think it's a little on the older side.
Oh, there's no, I think the age, you can still join at 30, 31 or 32 if you want. What we have was we have a lot of Marines who tried for the recon course, who tried when they were enlisted, like conscripts, like 2-year guys. They volunteered, but they failed to get in. and then they did their time as like a cook or mechanic or a clerk in like a different unit. But after they got out of the military, they re-enlisted as Recon Marines, as NCOs this time, as NCOs for 4 years. So we've got a lot of those guys. Those guys are usually squared away. Also, we have NCOs who've got actual combat experience or near combat experience, which is rare for South Koreans. So as you know, like Pohang is in this like the southeastern the southern part of Korea, so we're away from the border, right? But at the border we have a second recon. So I'm first recon, but at the border there's second recon. And second recon, those guys are the real deal. They're firing like AK-47s every day, and like RPG, like communist machine guns and all that stuff. Like they're the ones waiting for the next Cold War to blow off. So,
wow.
So one story I heard was one of my instructor, my scuba instructor in a reconnaissance school. He was on a joint interdiction mission in like around the contested waters, looking for the mission statement was to look for illegal Chinese fishing vessels. So they find like an illegal Chinese fishing vessel. They go on. They do the whole like Coast Guard, like put your hands on your head, right? And then they search the boat, and that's like pretty standard. But then the fisherman, the captain of the boat, jumps off the ship into the water and starts swimming away towards land. So my scuba instructor, he jumps in after him because he's like a track athlete, like the whole swimming guy. So he jumps in after the Chinese fisherman, swims after him, and chases the fisherman onto land. And then he runs up the beach, and he runs into a North Korean patrol. They just like run into each other, like bam. Like, and the North Koreans, they're not even carrying they have their weapons on their backs because they're not expecting anyone. So they run into each other, and they just stare at each other for 10 seconds, and then my instructor just turns around, runs like hell back to the boat. So those are the stories that the second recon guys have. Those are the guys you should be interviewing. But yeah, so that's what they get up to in the second. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of, there's like a different world of Black Ops, Spec Ops that we never see in the news. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine some of the stuff that you know, some of the guys that were involved in SOG were Korean War vets, and then some of the older men in SOG, some of the officers that were no longer, shall we say, in the field running recon operations and such. They had been part of the SOG of the Korean War and were doing infiltrations in the north, kind of like what you're speaking about right there. And that's some crazy stuff. I can only imagine. From base what I've seen, I was watching YouTube videos and everything, and that the coast and all of that of Korea looks like it would be a formidable place to try and infiltrate it, day, night, even under the best of circumstances. So that the training has to be pretty intense. That's wild. With is there a I don't want to make it sound like paranoia, but is it just a constant readiness to where if it goes off, you know, it's second nature, y'all are ready? Are those of you in the recon and special reconnaissance battalions, are y'all on, like, if y'all go on leave, do y'all have to have beeper cell phones where you can be called back to base if something occurs?
I think that's for like all soldiers in Korea.
Oh wow!
My unit. Yeah. So when I don't know about these days, but when I was for my era, like when you went on leave, you had to phone your first sergeant every morning. It's like freaking kindergarten. I hated it, but you have to phone like your NCO
every morning.
Let them know where you. Yeah. Really, yeah. Or like every afternoon. Yeah. It was. Wow. I hated that culture, but you had to do it. Yeah.
Man, that's pretty heavy duty. I've heard of some overbearing drill sergeants and first sergeants and such as that. But that's pretty heavy duty. But you know, everything has its rhyme and reason, I'm sure, safety wise for you guys. So I don't know but that is crazy. Uh, with all the training going on and everything, and thank goodness there's not wars going on. And as you mentioned, some of the guys do have combat experiences from various things that do happen. Is there and again, if you can't talk about it, you know, just let us know. We'll move on. Is there another step in the reconnaissance community for you guys? Like we've got Delta, DevGru, you know, the 24 Special Tactics Squadrons. Do y'all have a Delta, if you will?
Oh, that's a really good question. Now the answer is yes. I was in Recon when the unit was undergoing growing pains. So nobody, very honestly, nobody really cared about us. We had a bunch of garbage Cold War gear left over from the 1990s. We're still using that stuff.
Y'all sound just like the Marine Corps in the United States in the 1990s, from what I've heard. Then this is insane.
Yeah, so we have like we're doing like miles training with like hand-me-down gear. We're sleeping on mattresses that have like made in 1980 stamped on them, right? So nobody gives a damn about us. Like our helmets, we still have to. We use the you watch. I'm guessing you watched Hacksaw Ridge, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Clint Eastwood movie Hacksaw Ridge. So we still have the Hacksaw Ridge helmets and the equipment. That was our equipment. We had Hacksaw Ridge equipment. I'm not joking. Yeah.
Dang.
In the 2010s, we're running around in Hacksaw, like pretending we're in Hacksaw Ridge. And when I was in, we still had the World War II like gas masks. Now the gas masks are pretty good, but we still had like the Resident Evil gas masks, if you will.
The one with
like,
the little side filter on it with the weird fade.
Yeah. We had those, but now 2026, I guess I heard that we have like a number one. It's like a special reconnaissance regiment now. It's like a bigger regiment, and also there are 3 companies, and I think third, and this is like recruiters post this on their Instagram pages. So this is where I'm getting my information from.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's like third special reconnaissance company, I think, and they're the ones who do like they're specialized. They're like our toughest. So they go, oh nice, oh sweet, yeah. So now they're the ones who get the top missions, best equipment. As a 2-year guy, like what I did, you can't even apply to go to the third reconnaissance company. You can't even apply. You have to have minimum like 4 to 6 years under your belt just to apply.
Wow. Okay. Yes, this is reading just like Delta, if you will, for y'all's version of it. It's all national defense. They're all wow, yeah, Navy SEAL UDT commission training, Army SF commission training. So yeah, y'all have taken, evidently it looks like, and it sounds like based from reading of that, y'all have had people who have gone through the schools and the training to get it back. So that third group must be pretty squared away then, if they're going through all that. That's pretty heavy duty. You wait, 2018, were some of the guys from the recon community, or even the infantry communities, were they going to Afghanistan or either Iraq or any of the Middle Eastern conflict dust-ups at any point in time?
I think they were going to some Korean, not the Marines at that time, but I think the Army was doing regular deployments to Lebanon and the UAE, from what I know.
Wow. Okay.
We had an NCO. I'm not going to mention his name because he's active duty, but he's like.
Oh yeah, please don't do that. Yeah.
He's like a master sergeant. Number one, he looks like a big bad recon Marine. So he's Korean, but he's like 6'4". He's like a 6'4" Korean guy, and he's like ripped. Yeah, he's like 6'4" Korean guy who's ripped, and his fist is the size of my head. I'm not joking. His fist is the size of my head. Yeah.
He's a
And he's
recruiting
been,
poster Marine.
yeah, no, he was a recruiting poster Marine. Yeah. And,
There you go, man.
and
Wow, that's
yeah, and he's been in the Recon since 2006, I think, 2005 or 2006. So he's been to Afghanistan, Iraq, and he saw combat against the North Koreans. Yeah. So
damn. Wow.
so he's like our living legend. If he's watching this, I hope he gets promoted to sergeant major quickly. He deserves it. Yeah.
Wow, shout out, man. Yeah, he sounds like he is a handful. Damn, that is crazy. And I was just looking at and it made me think. After all of this talk about training and everything,
Uh-huh.
what basic? I guess we'll go through it, or is it all the same? Are y'all using M16s, M4s, or does Korea have their own specialty service rifle and pistol?
Good question. So we have the standard basic issue is called our K2 assault rifle. I think it's K2 Daewoo. You can Google it right now if you want. It's K2 rifle. Uh, that's for our basic. That's just our basic rifle, the standard issue rifle. Uh, I've talked to a lot of American vets, and they say it's like firing an AR-15. That they compare it. I've never fired an AR-15, but they compare it to an AR-15.
I think
So
it
that's the
kind of
K2 that were issued in boot camp. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
That's the
it's
K2.
it replaced the M16 for y'all, and it's 5.56 as well. So yeah, it would be exactly like shooting the 16 or the M4. That's pretty cool. Wow.
But for specialized units, so I think for like special forces or like certain like specialized like border troops or something, you get issued the K1. You can also Google that too. The K1 is smaller, it's more compact. It's got a higher rate of fire, but more inaccurate. But the good thing about the K1 is you can carry it anywhere. You can sleep in a hole with it, right? So it's much
Oh
easier.
yes, that baby is
For the
small.
K. Uh-huh.
Wow. Yes. Very. Yeah. See, it actually. Yeah. Now that you look at it, and now that I'm seeing that picture, it literally looks like the modern incarnation of the old grease gun right there. Uh, that's pretty damn cool. Wow. Um, both those rifles are really, really. I'm trying to see what it. Yeah, shoots the 223 and a 5.5. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty damn cool. Yeah, y'all are using somewhat of the same weapons, pretty much. I mean, it's not an American M4, but it's still right there with it nonetheless. So you said some of the upper echelon units are kitted out like we see the Devru guys and all of that as you get
Yeah, yeah.
higher in the pipeline.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. What did you have? And I can't imagine you had much, but I was just curious. Did you have much contact with any armor or anything like that? What's the Korean armor and such like? Are you
Well,
using American Abrams and such?
I think that our Marine Corps, I think the U.S. Marines are jealous of us because we still have like a tank unit. I'm pretty sure you can double check. Uh, we have like the Korean Marine tank unit, and the Americans are jealous because we actually, to prepare for North Korea, we still maintain like a large tank force, still a large armored force. And again, it's crazy because the guys you see driving Marine Corps tanks, they've been like college students like 10 weeks ago. Yeah. And and I've only ridden just once. You know the AAVs, the amphibious assault vehicle. I've
Mhm.
only ridden in one once. I've literally seen a tank like moving once. So I've had little to no contact with the armor guys. But from what I hear, like from what I see online, we actually have a very decent sized armor fleet, armored force.
I can imagine you would, with y'all's close relationship with the Navy and the Marine Corps and their use of the amphibious vehicles and everything. I could only imagine that y'all would have a formidable armor unit and amphibious unit at that as well. Very, very interesting. The helicopters, are y'all using Black Hawks, or what are y'all's helicopters of choice?
I think I think it's called the Surion, Surion helicopter that we use. Surion. That's our Korean-made helicopter. But
Mhm.
I've personally jumped from CH-47s, C-130s. Do we have Black Hawk? I don't think so. We have a lot of CH-47s and C-130s though. I'm not like a huge airplane helicopter guy, but
I, Same here.
yeah,
And I know from Vietnam, the Cobra and the Huey and all of that, but and then A-10. But other than that, you're getting out of my realm of stuff there on that. And that would almost make sense also, because I would imagine there might be some kind of treaty, or they may not, the treaty, North Korea may not want y'all having, I don't know. Although I thought I heard one time that somebody on the DMZ saying that there are Black Hawks on the DMZ. I could almost, I would not be surprised, either Americans or you guys having Black Hawks at the border. In fact, I'm almost positive y'all do. Um, uh, but as you're going through the recon community and training going on and such, is there something that you're looking forward to each year? You're not, of course, you'd be crazy to say war popping off and all of that, but is there something you guys do? You did mention that training, and some are every 2, 4, 5 years. But do y'all personally do something that you guys look forward to every year in the recon community, or your specific unit?
oh, you look forward to, or and fear. Yes, there is a once a year we have this march. So it changes depending on the year, but sometimes it's 2 weeks, and we cover like 200. I think like 240 miles in 2 weeks. We have to walk 240 miles in 2 weeks. For us,
Dang.
uh, for our year, they made it 62 miles in 24 hours, and that was so once a year we have this. It's like a simulated what's happened. The simulation is you've been routed by the enemy, so we have to like get back to friendly lines, right? We have to get back to friendly lines. Uh, it's it used to, in the Army Special Forces and Force Recon, it's 2 weeks and 400 kilometers. And for what I did, it was one day, but like 100 kilometers. So you're just rucking 62 miles in 20 hours. 20 hours because you have 4 hours. I think like 2 or 3 hours for sleep. So, and we have to ruck uh, like 62 miles in a day. That was disgusting. Like I was like I was crying so much my snot was like dripping off my chin. It was disgusting. And uh, a lot of civilians think like, oh, like I did that on like when I went to Hawaii, like I climbed up this mountain. And like no, like you have to do it in combat boots with like the rock and everything. I
Pe-
almost yeah, and I know
People
you
don't
guys do.
understand rucking, military rucking. There's, wearing a weight vest while you're walking at the gym, or, around your house or in the neighborhood. And then there's military rucking. Yeah, there's just no comparison. Unless you've military rucked, you don't know what rucking is. I mean, there you go. Imagine humping, 60 clicks with that on your back.
So we're rucking and I would see that was my standard loadout. That was my gear. But some guys they had the radio and like the grenade launcher, and I cannot even imagine what that was like. Like I cried through that rock, but it was okay because everybody else was like their minds were like gone. Like we were just like crying and sobbing and like screaming from.
I can't imagine what y'all's
It was a
feet
nice.
must have been like. The y'all's feet must have been just obliterated after that.
Yeah, I think like the Navy doc, the not the corpsman, the senior. What's the senior doc called? Like the actual. There's an actual doctor who like looks at your feet, like not a corpsman after the ROK. Yeah.
I don't know. Podiatrist, or we call military term. I don't know.
He was our Navy doctor, but our Navy doctor, he looked at my feet and he almost like puked. He was like, "How did you
Ooh.
make it?"
You know it's bad when somebody
I,
who does that looks at it and is like, "Good God."
yeah. So I almost yeah. I barely made it, but I think like half of our guys fell out or got onto the ambulance. But I stayed the course. But it was I had nightmares about that ROK even after I got out of the military. Just like my feet still hurt. Now it's fine, but even after like for a year after that ROK, my feet had nightmares.
I can only imagine, and that's like here. There's one in Hawaii. The Marines have, and then there's one at San Diego, or it may have been. I think it's at San Diego. A hill that was just is in military lore for being notoriously back-breaking, blister-inducing, and just will-breaking. So that's crazy. There's something in the Marine Corps that it seems like it doesn't matter what country, but as long as you're a Marine, there's a bit of sadism and masochism that runs through the bloodstream there for y'all. Just getting the hell beat out of y'all. uh, with all this going on and everything, are you planning to make a career? Did you ever think about making a career out of the military, or what were your plans at this point in time?
I honestly wanted to reenlist for a few extra months. So in Korea you can reenlist for like 6 and 12 months, 18 months in those increments. You can reenlist.
Wow.
So honestly, I wanted to, reenlist and get my staff sergeant stripes. But to be completely honest, and oh yeah, if you reenlist, you can. They're like my first sergeant was like, if you reenlist, I'll send you to sniper school and all this stuff. But I
Incentives
really
coming at you.
thought about it long and hard, but yeah, but I decided that it was time to get out. And very honestly, like I wasn't the best Marine. Like guys like my thumbtack friend, he's like a good Marine, right? He's this type of guy who should reenlist. I wasn't honestly like the best type of guy to reenlist. I was a college boy. I was spoiled, right? So I wasn't prime recruiting material for reenlistment.
You're being hard on yourself there, man. Did I was checking out one of your photos here, or looking at all of them, but I noticed one of them here that you guys have or in this particular photo, green beret on, and I was just curious about what the significance of the beret is for you guys, the Korean Marines.
Uh, I think Green Berets. So if you're a recon, I think in the 70s or 80s, this was when we were a new unit, so we were getting all of our training from like the SEALs or the Army Special Forces, right? This is the 70s,
Okay.
and we don't have like a unit symbol yet. So our commander then he decided to make the Green Beret like our thing. Uh, Unfortunately, there are, or like not unfortunate, I shouldn't say this, but the tank units actually, the tankers, they are issued Green Berets as well. So a lot of the times they pretend to like go out and be Force Recon Marines.
Oh, I can see where
Like I
that
said,
would be some problem causing right there. Wow. Yeah. That oh yeah. I tell you that the military would have to change that. That would be such a problem, I think, here. That would get out of hand pretty quick. Um Wow, that's pretty cool though. You guys adopting the beret like that. It doesn't matter if it's our Green Beret, but I just love the eliteness of a beret on elite units like that. It's a good look. Did
It's hard to wear. Yeah.
do what now? I'm sorry.
It's hard to wear. So it's like
Oh
you know
yeah,
what they say about the U.S. Army Green Beret. It's like it's hot in the summer and yeah, it doesn't block your face, so it's not worth wearing. I think it's more about what it represents.
worst hat to wear in the world. Doesn't keep the
Yeah.
rain and sun out of your eyes, and it's hot as hell during the summer.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's hilarious. All my my Vietnam vets I talk to say that it's the damnedest piece of headgear, but boy, does it represent something. So yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
It's what it represents. Um, what and I can't believe I didn't ask this till now as we're starting to wind down here. What how often are you guys interacting with us, with the Americans? I know we've got bases and such. Is it a common occurrence, or is it specialty training time, or what's that like for you guys?
I think you can see if you Google it. It's called KMEP, KMEP. It's called KMEP training. We still have it, I think. But during the KMEPs, I sent you a photo of like me with U.S. Marines, and that
Hmm.
was taken during a KMEP where we do live fire exercises together. I've gone on joint like recon FTXs, field training exercises, right, with Marines together. So this is what's happening.
Very
So
cool.
it's called
Okay,
KMEP.
that's very interesting. And is this a marine unit that is based in Korea, or are they coming stateside to see you guys and train?
No. I think they're again. This is like common now. This is common information on the internet, but they're stationed in Camp Schwab, Okinawa. Or
Oh
like a
yeah,
recon base,
okay,
Camp Schwab,
yeah,
Okinawa, and then they rotate back and forth to Korea. And when they do rotate to Korea, the U.S. tank guys hang out with the Korean tank guys. The U.S. recon guys hang out with us.
very cool. Okay, yeah, yeah. Okinawa is definitely not only it used to be. Well, hell, no, it didn't. It's always been both special forces and Marine recon, a bit of a home base. So yeah, that's
Mm.
Oki's pretty historic in the recon community around these parts as well. So that's pretty cool. Um, so you mentioned you weren't really up for re-enlistment and everything. What's that like? As you're starting to wind down on, I'm assuming your time in the military. Do you have to check out of the unit? Do you have to go to a regular unit? What's that like for you as you're leaving the military?
Oh well, yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think I spent 18 months in like an actual like a recon company. So I spent 18 months in like a recon, like running and gunning, like going to the range like 24/7. And then my last 3 months, I applied for like a comfy job, like a supply job in first recon. So I'm still a recon marine. I'm still in first
Mm.
recon, but it was like what was I forget what my job. It was so cushy. I can't even remember the name. It was like intelligence marine. It was. I'm not joking. Like I worked 20 minutes a day, and then I went up to watch TV and just like read Playboy. So I literally
Uh,
worked like I think on like a hard day I'd work like 40 minutes a day. Yeah, and then just
that's
like go out, take a smoke break.
that's the dream right there, man. That is the absolute dream.
Yeah.
uh, so is there like here, it depends again if it's like wartime or what have you. They're throwing bonuses at guys, trying to keep them in. They're leaving. Some guys are going into private contracting, or they've already
Mm.
got something set up on the side. Well, not the side. They've got set up to leave. Did you have any plans? Did you have anything to where you were going to stay military adjacent, like contracting or anything, or what were your plans?
I considered reenlisting number one as a Navy officer. I considered re-enlisting as a Navy officer and going the Navy Spec Ops route. I considered that. Also, and I personally know, again, Recon is like I forget, you get your foot in the door of special operations, at least in Korea. So a lot of Recon guys, they do their 2 years, basic 2 years, and instead of going back to university, they just go to like Army Special Forces or something, right? But I considered that, but I just ended up going back to college. My story was kind of boring in the end, but I know guys who went to, who went off to the Middle East, who went through like the Koreas. We have our own like secret hush hush black ops program. If I say any more, I'll be kidnapped and tortured, so I'm not going to say anymore.
We don't want that. I don't want that.
We have our own black ops program, so I know guys who went into the Korean black ops programs.
Wow.
And a lot of guys just got out and became firefighters, cops, right, welders, blue collar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're guys who make like 6 figures as an engineer now, right?
Oh yeah, that's the military thing. Either guys continue on in the military, the OGA as we call it, the CIA, NSA, DIA, or you have your blue collar guys doing police work, fire work, or just normal dad working at the gas station or Lowe's or whatever.
Yeah. It's really like that. I know a guy who sells freaking lizards online. It's so random. Like you'll meet the craziest, most random people in the stories too.
Absolutely, that's that's what my dad used to say. It's that if you're wanting to meet some of the most interesting people and strangest people in the world, the Marine Corps is the place to go. So it seems like that just transcribes boundaries and borders. That's hilarious. I love hearing that. That's funny. So when do you officially part ways and not retire but leave service, shall we say? When does that officially take place?
I was discharged on April 2nd, 2019. You have to, I don't know how it is now, okay, but when I was there, you have to, and you can actually see the video if you click on my YouTube channel, but you have to go in and you have to salute the division commander, and there's a bunch of music that plays. It's like 500 Marines, and like we all salute the division commander, and then we come back to first recon, and then we salute our commander, and our juniors pack us a bunch of I guess you guys don't really have this. We have like EAS beatings. It's like a blood in, blood out. So the day before you leave, you get like the snot beaten out of you.
No, well, they might. I doubt today. I'm sure back in the day they did, like when they did blood wings and blood pinning. But I can't see guys getting. Yeah, I can't see it going through today with how PC the military's gotten. I love hearing that y'all still do that though. That's pretty damn hardcore.
So then you get the snot beaten out of you the night before you leave the military. Yeah, I think you can't like walk properly for a week after you get out.
Holy
but then it's like everybody like, so depending on how bad of a Marine you were to your junior Marines, they're allowed to like beat you as hard. So like I was like kicked and like punched, but like my buddy was beaten with a broomstick.
Oh.
Yeah, he was beaten with a broomstick. He wasn't a very good Marine, so his juniors took it out on him. But honestly, it's all like in good fun. And there's really no hard feelings, right? There's no hard feelings. And then you leave the barracks, and all your juniors line the road, and like they sing like the Reconnaissance song.
A viewer said, "Hoorah, Ghost Killer! We still do that today." He got out in 24, so the tradition still continues. It sounds like, which is awesome. It is camaraderie. No malicious intent whatsoever. It's really a bummer seeing stuff change historically. Stuff can get out of hand, but most of the stuff that has changed drastically in the past few years was never ill-intending on anybody, and it's really cool to see y'all continuing stuff like this. I think it builds a group. tighter, stronger, and makes y'all more of a cohesive unit. Being together like that's pretty badass. So after you get your arse handed to you, as they say, are you literally you sign the paperwork, boom, you're out, you're done with the military,
There's no
or
paperwork to sign.
oh wow, so
There's
you
nothing.
just walk out
Yeah.
one day and that's it?
Yeah. I heard like the U.S. guys, like you have to like turn in all your gear and you have to sign a bunch of like 10 different papers and stuff, right? Yeah. For us, it's like you throw you throw your stuff to your juniors, like here, take my coat, take my camelback, take my whatever, and then you just put your backpack on and you leave and you don't turn back. It's like
Wow,
very
that's
old school. Yeah, it's very
yeah.
old
I
school.
mean, you're like disappearing. Yeah, I mean, hell, I mean, if you lose something, you're up the proverbial creek without a paddle when you're handing stuff in and all of that. I mean, it's a whole ordeal to make sure people have their stuff together leaving the military. That's pretty crazy. Y'all can just give it to your buddies or whoever's left or what have you, and just literally walk out of the door and be done. Is there so there's no like not a National Guard unit that you leave in for, but I mean, so you're done. You're good to go and can literally start going to work, going to school that day once you're done. That's it.
Yeah. So on that day for 24 hours, you're still considered a soldier, like a Marine or like a GI. But so let's say I'm on April 2nd, I'm discharged. From April 3rd, like 12 midnight, I'm a civilian. So military law no longer applies to me.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
What
I know
what
dudes
was
who got out.
no, go ahead. What
Sorry.
were you?
Yeah,
No.
I know dudes who got out 3 days later. They were in college. It's like yeah, that was crazy.
Wow. And that was what I was fixing to ask. What did you do when you became a civilian? What did you decide to continue on doing? Did you say you went back to college?
Yeah, I went back to college. I
Awesome.
went back to college. I took classes. Yeah, it was really honestly, it was insane going back to college after 2 years because just like you realize like all of your friends that you smoke weed with and drink with, they don't care about you, right? And then you kind of learn that, and then you get back to college, and I think like the first class I took it was like music class, so it's like the history of like classical music, and I've just been like the number one like recon Marine translator, badass, tough guy, and like a week later you're sitting in class and it's like, well, this is Mozart's music. Now if you look at Mozart, like and like Chopin, I love my music teacher, right? She's wonderful, but that was just crazy going back to regular college after all that stuff.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine what that is like. That's like the guys coming straight out of the war and being on a plane and like in Hawaii in 24 hours or 48 hours after being in the jungle. It's like, whoa, it seemed like we need a little bumper zone here from this here. That that's crazy. What did you end up deciding to do? Did you decide to write your book while you were in college, or was this a recent thing? When did the idea for the book come about?
Well, yeah, I actually started writing more like venting. I started venting in college. I actually no, actually I started writing it in the military. I started writing it in the military. Yeah, in my
Very cool.
final few months, I really wish I hadn't thrown that out. It's the original manuscript is lost to history, but I remember enough of it, so I typed it down. I talked about all the good, the bad, and the ugly, the really terrible stuff that I saw, but also like the hilarious, funny, stupid moments that I had. So it's taken me, I think, 6 years or so to write the book and make it like publishing quality. Yeah.
Hmm.
If you read it, it's like really explicit in some areas, but it's been toned down again and again and again and again and again. But yeah,
That's
and also
it.
I ended up yeah I ended up
No,
going
go ahead. I'm
to
sorry. Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. I interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, no worries. And I ended up going to law school, U.S. not Korean law school, American law school, and I work I work as an American attorney online from Korea. Yeah. But in between, I've just been constantly writing because I there's no actual book on the Korean special operations conscript experience. It's very unique, right? Yeah. So uh, I think that it's taken me a very long time to write it, and it was and it's also too explicit, so it's taken me a long time to tone it down as well.
I was just fixing to say there are some of the more older guys that joined, but there are very few Korean Special Forces books out there to get. So yeah, you're going to be in a league of your own, shall we say, with your book. That's fantastic. And is it now complete? Is it about to be ready for publishing, or what's going on with that?
Yes, indeed. It's in the process of being. My editor is working on it as we speak, and when she gives me the final copy, then we'll publish.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic. So that's 6 years worth of work about to
That's
pay
right.
off here.
Here's what the work. Uh-huh.
Awesome. That's fantastic, and that shows true dedication and spirit, man, to keep writing. You never realize how hard writing is till you sit down and either take notes or try writing something out yourself. I did a few little articles for a buddy's magazine on SOG, and
Mhm.
boy, is it tough, and that just gives me a whole new appreciation for all the books back there that the guys have written, the veterans, and that you're going to be added into the collection back there once I get your book, of course. But it's an admirable trait, that people that can write, and I wish and those that watch this, I would hope more veterans would write books. It doesn't have to be blood and guts, as Pyron said. He's got funny stories. We like funny stories. We had a whole SOG show the other day on funny stories. Literally nothing about combat. So I think that's one thing that holds veterans back. That they think the public has a unquenchable thirst for nothing but action. There are some, but there's a growing group that just wants to hear from the veteran and what it was like as a veteran. And it sounds like your book is going to do a really, really good job of being explicit about what it was like as a conscript and what it was like for you going and becoming a recon Marine in the Korean military. So I know I'm very excited for it to come out. Do you know a rough release date?
Late end of March or at least April at the latest. Yeah, so it will be out April.
That's fantastic, man. That's right around the corner. That is fantastic. Um, well, I mean, that's close. We'll be having part two here in April then. Is as we're getting ready to shut down for the day, because we'll be covering some more stuff in part two. But is there anything that I may have forgotten to bring up, or that we didn't cover that you'd like to mention before we shut down for part one tonight?
Uh, I just like to say thank you to everybody who has served and is currently serving. Uh, I'm trying really hard not to be those guys who are like, back in my day, things were tougher, right? We didn't have fancy MREs, we had C rations. Right? I qualified with iron sights, right? I try not to be that guy, and I genuinely think that in some ways the reconnaissance training and the is much more challenging, and you learn more in 2026 than I learned in 2018. Uh, yeah, because the guys these days, in some ways they have it easier, but in some ways they do have it harder. I heard that the dive qualifications and the shooting qualifications and PT standards are higher these days than when I was in. And so it's not just mindless hazing and being treated like garbage. It's actual good training. So I'd like to thank everybody who's kind of evolving with the times, and don't be a dinosaur. That's all I have to
I
say.
couldn't say that any better than myself. And there's a few questions I'm sure people are going to be like, why didn't you ask this? I've got a few that are really good questions that I'm saving for part two because I didn't want to maybe ask something that was in the book that that people would learn from the book. So I think there's a few things that that is going to be good for part two. But I'm looking forward to the book. I'm thankful you reached out to me and came on. It's fantastic. I would ask other vets or anybody that has family members to ask them if they'd like to come on. Always would welcome a guest to come on, and if you've got a book, also to come on and promote it. And you know, like I said, we're gonna have a part two once the book comes out, and everybody, I'll be making a post, of course, promoting it for you. Everybody can get it, and then we'll do a part two and talk about it and answer some questions, and then do some of the questions that we got from this one. So, everybody, I can't thank our guests enough tonight. Those of y'all watching, I know y'all are about to start saying thank you, and I'll let our guests know when we shut down. But we're gonna go ahead and close it out for tonight. I'll keep you all informed for a part two. I'll stay in touch with our guests tonight, and we'll put it together. But that'll be it for the evening. Pyron, I can't thank you enough, and I'll be in touch with you. And I hope you have a wonderful morning on your side.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a great privilege. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I'll get in touch with you tomorrow sometime or the next day, and we'll start figuring out something for part two then.
Awesome. That sounds great.
All righty, man. I will see everybody later on. Y'all have a great day, and well, you have a great day. Everybody else have a great evening. We'll see y'all later.
All right. Peace out. Thank you